Regardless, I sold love, but somehow all this pain is what I harness. I gave my all and got nothing back, don't ask me why I'm heartless. Life is a movie and just playing a part, but the part is less important than the mission, and you can't even hit your targets. That's why cold killers on the scene turn your body to a carcass. Surprise, surprise, I turned out to be more than what would meet the eye. Even I couldn't see the painful blessings in the skies. All they hate and doubt to bring me down just to my own demise. Talking down to me as soon as they see that I'm on the rise. Said I wouldn't make it, I would fail, but oh surprise, surprise. Said they love me and would be here still, but oh surprise, surprise. Pain is killing me.
Thank you guys for joining me on another episode of the Not Your Average Success Story movement. I am so excited because, again, as I stated earlier, I am back in my alma mater. Is that how you said that? Because I was tripping earlier trying alma mater.
You're asking, English is not my first language, so...
I am back at the college that I graduated from, and I am meeting some great people, and I'm so glad that it's expanding the way that it is. So our next guest, Yamali. Okay, Miss Yamali, could you introduce yourself, let us know where you're from, and give us an interesting fact.
Okay, my name is Yamali Lopez. I am from Jacksonville, Florida, but I was born and raised in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And an interesting fact, I'm a former wrestler, so...
Okay, so your whole life, or?
No, I did it my sophomore and senior year of high school, and then I got a scholarship for Midland to come here, but then I had injuries. So.
Gotcha. What weight class?
101s.
101? Mm-hmm. So is it? I don't know anything about wrestling.
That is the lightest weight in college.
Okay. So were you pretty cold? I mean, you got a scholarship, so you must have been pretty decent.
I mean, yeah, decent enough, I guess.
Did your parents or anybody, did your folks wrestle, or is it something that you just kind of started?
No, my family has no history of wrestling. It's not a common sport in Puerto Rico, especially not for a female, you know. And I told my dad the first time that I was doing it, he just looked at me, he goes, "Excuse me?" And he was like, "WWE?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah.
But sure.
Yeah.
And it scared him a little. And then he realized how passionate I was, and then he started supporting me. Okay. So it was really nice.
Okay.
He would have preferred the volleyball legacy, but that's not happening.
Nah, I feel it. So you said Jacksonville and Puerto Rico. Like, what's if you could, what's a happy medium, or from both experiences? What did you take from both experiences, both places?
I moved around a lot since I was a kid.
Okay.
So the only 3 homes that I know is Puerto Rico, Jacksonville, Florida, and Buffalo, New York. Those are the only 3 places I've ever called home. And my current home is obviously Florida. But they all have different things that I like.
I was about to say, that's different. Yeah. All of them seem different, yeah.
And they all have things that I dislike. Puerto Rico is a great place. Don't get me wrong, I love my island. I love representing, as you can see on my wall, you know. But the stuff that happened, within the island, and just the poverty levels are just so low, and to make a living there is so hard. Gotcha. And I just can't put myself through that, but for those who can, go you.
Go for it,
go for it. Which my mom is actually planning on moving back this summer, so go for her. You know, I'm rooting for her.
Yeah.
Buffalo, it's where I really found myself as a kid. It's where I started up with school. That's where I actually started hitting the books more. It was a place where a lot of bad things happened, but a lot of good outcomes came out of it, you know? And then Florida, I think, is just where I let those roots grow and flourish. Gotcha. So it's a really close place to me in the heart, with friends, family, just every memory that I made there, I think is more important than anywhere else. So.
Okay. So I noticed you're saying Puerto Rico. Are you rolling your tongue when you say it?
Okay, so it's hard because like I want people to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes everybody tells me this. I say it with like an English accent instead.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it sounds like I'm rolling my R's, and sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on the moment.
Well, I was I don't know if. How do you say it like that?
Puerto.
Puerto. Oh shit.
Puerto.
To.
So the R is before the T. So Puerto.
Puerto. I'm gonna work on that. Puerto.
Rico.
I don't know. But I just wanted to try that. Well, again, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just going to jump right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something specific that you had to overcome at some point in your life that you feel comfortable discussing with us today?
Yeah. I wanted to take this opportunity and talk about the things that I've struggled with as a college student, being the first one out of my family to go to college.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit harder because you're states away, you know. So yeah, that's what I really wanted to talk about. Last year, I'm a sophomore right now. So last year as a freshman, I came here. I was super excited. I never toured the school in person. I was one of the quarantine seniors, so we didn't have the opportunity to fly here or drive here to come visit and see what my future was gonna be like, you know. And I was so tired of not taking the chances, you know. And we ran through so many scenarios for me to get here. I am so blessed to be here, and super thankful for my dad. But to get here was such a ride that it feels even nicer once you're here and you're actually doing it. When I came here, the staff, the students, the same way that it was on the Zoom for the tour, it was the same way in person. And I was like, okay, I think I've made the right decision. And immediately first semester, I started getting very involved. Obviously, I was a part of the wrestling team, and everything was going well. Perfect, loved it. Had roommate issues. I actually lived here in the same building, same floor, just down that hall.
Okay.
And me and my roommate separated, so I left a room, and I actually got a room that's right there on the corner. So my whole life is based on this building. And that was such a hard time for me because my roommate was also my teammate, and going to practices and seeing them, and just the dynamic was so off. The team was actually off. That first semester for the women's team coming into quarantine style wrestling, it was just so different for everyone. People were frustrated. It's been a rough year, and slowly things started trickling down. After I moved out of my roommate's room, I got a neck injury on my neck. We were doing practice, and my partner did what we call the fireman. So you throw the person over your shoulders, and she threw me so fast that I wasn't ready because she's more experienced. She's already in college, and I'm just starting out first, practice, since we all had a quarantine before that too. And when I landed on that mat, I felt like everything in my world shattered. And I'm a person where I don't like to show my emotions to people that I don't know. And I just laid there on that mat that morning, and I was saying, how is this possible? Why am I laying here? It was a very scary thing, and then I just started laughing. I started laughing, I started making jokes because I didn't know how to deal with the situation. They took me with an ambulance to the hospital. I got put in a neck brace for a month. One doctor gave me a certain thing or whatever, and then I was told by a different doctor that what that doctor told me was wrong, that my injury was way more serious than what they had made it seem. So I was battling through that injury. Not moving your neck for a whole month, it's very hard. Especially for a person who gives tours, so you have to constantly be looking around. And just for an active person, it just put me in a very depressive mode. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. All I do is work every day. And so relaxing for me is just not normal. And then second semester came along, and things started looking up again. And I was so excited. You know, I left a toxic relationship. I was ready to get back on the mat. I was ready to wrestle. And me and my ex-roommate became best friends. We're still best friends to this day. Unfortunately, she doesn't attend this college anymore, but I love her to death now. And that was a big stepping stone for that semester. And she was great. I love her. She took me outside of like that work mindset bubble and started teaching me like, you can go out, you know, it's okay to go out, you know, go make friends. And I made so many friends that semester. It was one of the best semesters of college that I've had so far, and I don't regret anything that I did. I had tons of fun, and I was still able to do my schoolwork and do everything correctly. And then the summer, I ended up going to California with her, and I didn't see my family as much. So at that point, I hadn't seen my family for over a year since I moved into college, because since COVID, you don't get as many of the breaks that you normally do. And I went to go see my family for the first time, and oh my goodness, that was great. It was so emotional. I felt like I was dreaming because I was only there for 2 weeks, and I was just like, wow. This is great. I missed my family. I miss spending time with them, telling them what I've done throughout college. It's great. And the day before I left to come back to Nebraska, I was just a flood of feelings. Like, it was just crying from the moment that I woke up for that flight to the minute that I got to the airport and had to say bye to my dad. I'm a big daddy's girl, so when it comes to that, I just get very emotional.
Shout out to Pops. Shout out to Pops.
Pops. Love you. But yeah, and last semester it went from high, then low, then high, and then last semester was just an all-time low of my life. I do so much for the school. I work as an admissions ambassador. I'm an RA. I run my whole entire organization, and I just say yes to everything. And last semester was my burnout point with college, with just everything. I stopped doing like the normal things, my routine. I stopped going to classes. I started getting very depressed. I didn't want to do anything with my life. I would wake up some mornings and I just look at myself and I wouldn't even want to brush my hair. It was a very, very hard thing for me to go through. And I was so over just doing my normal routine because everything that I did, it just came out wrong. I either overthought it or somebody shut the ideas down, or it's just too many bad things for me. And I never experienced anything like that in my life. And when I went into Christmas break, I just shut out the world. I said, I need to focus on myself. I need to learn how to be me again. And this time, learn not to fake it and actually show my feelings. And that's hard. That is so hard, because throughout every struggle that I've had in my life since I was a kid, I just put a smile on and I just try to be my best self for everybody else, not for me. And I went to college for my dad. I wanted to do this for my family. I wanted to prove whatever I wanted to prove to them. And I said to myself, I was like, this is not for me. If it's not for me, then why am I doing it? you know. So I wanted to figure that out, and I did. First week got back, so excited. Started planning things for HSU, started getting for DEI week when I first met you, and I didn't realize how much I messed up last semester, that to fix everything that I didn't do last semester, to do it all in the first week of school, I was just exhausted. After the Hispanic Student Union event, I just crashed, and I just started crying. I mean, like, that whole weekend I have no memory of, because I just drowned myself that weekend. I was just like, I can't. I thought I had everything under control. I thought I was doing it right, and it's not there, you know? My motivation is still not there, and my father calls me, and he goes, I need to talk to you about what's been happening. I was like, dude, I've been needing to talk to you for a while, but I don't know how to. Like, my dad has a very strong persona, so he seems angry half the time, but he's not actually angry. And he just started crying to me, and I said, Dad, I just want to go home. I can't do this anymore. I can't, I don't have any motivation. I don't want to go to class. I don't want to do the work. I just feel like this is just not for me. I'm not built for this. I don't know what I'm doing, and you don't know either, so who is going to help me? You know? And then he goes, no, you got this. You're going to get through this. You have been working for this since you were a little kid. All you wanted to do was to go to college. You're going to do this. I'm going to help you, even though I don't know a lot of things. I'm going to help you through it, and you're going to overcome it. And I was like, okay, I got this. Just listen to your dad. And I signed up for counseling. I'm preparing papers and stuff to get an ESA CAT. So it's just those little steps to make me feel better and help me out. Am I 100% right now? Not even close. But I'm working on it, and that's something that makes me happy. That I'm taking the time to build connections with people and just be myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, man, that was super, super powerful. In my history of talking to different people and figuring myself out, I think what you spoke on is very key on having the patience, having the awareness, having the knowledge to know when enough is enough for yourself, and knowing not necessarily where to seek that help, but just knowing that, all right, I need to go and figure something out.
Yeah.
And I think it's very mature, and like I said, just super dope that you were able to make that decision. And you're 20.
I'm just 20.
Holy cow! And you're 20 years old, but that is beautiful because you're a lot more aware than a lot. I'm 29. You're a lot more aware than a lot of individuals that I've spoken to, and I think that is so beautiful and so key to just growth and just becoming the person that you will become in the future. Is there any advice that you can give to anybody out there that may be going through that same process, that may be, overwhelmed with college, again, figuring themselves out? Is there any advice that you can give?
Yeah, so if you are, like me, a Hispanic student who is the first in their family to go to college, find the help. Like, there's tons of help out there for you to be able to achieve your dreams. There's people willing to help you out. And I had to learn that the hard way, because obviously if your parents don't know, then how are you going to know? Research.
Yeah.
We have the technology, use it. We have the resources, use them, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. And I want people to understand that there's help out there.
Yeah.
You just have to be willing to look for it. It depends on how bad you want it to. And please, just be yourself. Love yourself. It's going to be tough, and I can't really even give someone that much advice on self-love if I'm still trying to learn how to do it. But avoid the social media talk. Avoid trying to fit in with a certain group. Build your own group. Build your own group. And that's why I created the Hispanic Student Union.
Yeah. Because that wasn't here when I was here, so that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, and if you don't feel right at home, make yourself a home. So, for example, my room, a week or two ago, my bed was over here, everything was more open. I felt so alone, and I said, this doesn't feel like home. I stayed one full day here. I did all my classes, I did all my homework, and I said, screw this. Put on my speaker. I just started deep cleaning this room. I swished everything around, and I said, I want a living area, and then I want my own private place where I feel like it's just for me and not for everybody else to see. And when I did that, my mood has changed so drastically. It is ridiculous. I mean, my boyfriend tells me all the time, he goes, ever since you changed your room, you're like, you're on the go-go. And I'm like, because I feel motivated. I feel like I've made myself comfortable, and I had to do that at the beginning of the semester. And that's where I went wrong, you know? And we forget to do that. We think about other people first, and we forget about ourselves. And you just can't. You have to take care of yourself, whether it's like making sure that you have coffee made every morning or just building a routine. It's just so helpful to your mental health. And a lot of college students don't know that, and a lot of just regular teens just don't know that. And it's okay to have a mental breakdown here and there. Just don't have it for an entire semester.
Man, well, thank you so much. Wow, again, this is another beautiful one, and it's almost a mic drop moment, because you, like you said, like it's okay to have those moments. And I love how you decided to, use cleaning as a form of therapy. And like you said, just if you don't feel like, if you don't fit in, create your own group. If you don't feel like you're at home, make where you are as homely as possible. So I think that's so powerful, and that's not even just to college students or teenagers. Like, that could be universal. So thank you so much again for sacrificing a few moments of your time to chop it up with me. Is there anything else that you wanted to drop on?
No.
That's it? Cool, and that's perfectly fine. Well, if that is all, again, thank you. And if there is nothing else, this is another episode on the Not Your Average Success Story movement. And guess what? We on season 8. Boom.
Yay.
Cool.